Hello, I'm Don Moores, and I welcome you to Montgomery Week in Review. Direct-to-consumer genetic testing programs may provide poorly understood information, even as they are being marketed more and more. Dr. Barry Thompson, a geneticist, will give us the details of these tests and how the public can better understand them. There is a new initiative in the county regarding public-private cooperation for economic development in our Montgomery County. Lily Chi of the County Executive's Office is here to explain this new strategy. The Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce is looking forward to what is now the 42nd annual Public Safety Awards Luncheon, one of the highlights of the county's yearly schedule. Steve Robbins, an attorney and chair of the event, has the story, longtime chair of the event. The Interfaith Clothing Center of Interfaith Works has big news for the community. Samantha Crosby from the organization has all the details for us. Dr. Thompson, how are you, Barry?
Fine.
We're used to talking here. I mean, you're one of the leaders in the Honey and Beekeepers Association. You're the person here in Montgomery County, state of Maryland, one of the experts. We're not talking about bees.
Correct.
Although I do want to talk about bees.
Correct.
We're talking about genetics, these home genetics tests, where one can learn about one's background and everything else. And tell us about what these are and why we should be concerned.
Well, most of the viewers will be familiar with the really rapid advances in genetics and genomics over the last decade and more. And that's primarily related to diagnostic testing. Mm-hmm. Today is an opportunity to address the circumstance of, as you say, direct-to-consumer testing, the sort of thing that you see advertised by various firms on the television and so forth.
Well, I want to know, what am I? Am I Scottish? Am I Italian? Am I Madagascaran?
Well,
tell me, right?
There are several different ways that the public views this sort of testing as beneficial. Sometimes it's ancestry, sometimes it's paternity, sometimes it's ethnicity. All of those are legitimate benefits that may accrue. At the same time, my concern and those of my professional colleagues is that direct-to-consumer testing sometimes has pitfalls that the public may not think about. The individual who submits a sample to one of the commercial firms should be able to rely upon the validity of the test results. It should be performed by a laboratory that is competent, and they should be able to anticipate what kind of results they may get and what they may want to do with those results.
Let me interrupt you here before we get, I know Lily wants to speak, ask you a question here. There's a website that we have that's going to be posted on the program right now. What's that website?
That's one of the resources for the public and professionals. It's the American College of Medical Genetics and Genomics here in Bethesda. It's one of the national medical organizations, and it's but one of the several websites. But we wanted to give
to learn more about
a resource at that point.
Well, this is a fascinating topic. So as a consumer, if I'm interested in pursuing that, to have a genetic test of some kind, where do I go as a first point of contact?
Well,
to make sure that my rights are protected, that it's done with integrity, you know.
Well, first of all, we feel that you should be available, it should be made available to you, a pre-test counseling service, either offered by the firm itself or by one of the professional organizations. In other words, a healthcare professional who understands the test. Then, of course, we respect patient autonomy. It's your choice if you get the information on what you'd like to do with that. But we'd like to make certain, as you would, I'm certain, to know what pitfalls might be there, what you could do with that information, and what you may want to do with that information.
Yeah, I'm curious. When you do this test, are you looking for medical conditions, or are you looking just for your ethnic background as sort of a case of medical information versus just being curious about your ancestry?
That's right.
Well, that's one of the complexities of the situation. We often test for medical purposes to try and relate symptoms or signs to the test itself. In other instances, the consumer is interested in the sorts of things that we've asked about before. And one of the concerns is that when one has a test for perhaps ancestry or for ethnicity, that you may in fact gain information that is in some way related or not related to medical concerns that you haven't really thought about. And the third, of course, is testing for research purposes, and we encourage people to make their specimens available for research because that's where we're moving in medicine at that point.
But I would think also like paternity and whatnot, you get a surprise that maybe you weren't trying to find out, and all of a sudden you find out that
That's true.
Pops is not Pops. Or
Well, unanticipated results also have results of no known significance. In other words, we test and let's say we have 100 genes and we're not really particularly concerned about paternity in this instance or a specific disorder, and suddenly you find out that you have a gene that might predispose you at some time later in your life to some sort of difficulty, or we don't know what to do with the information and we can't
right.
provide the
When
information.
you, so when you do get the information from the consumer direct testing, is there a way to know if it is like 100% true? Is somebody available to kind of walk you through your results and explain what each thing means?
There may be one available from the firm itself, which we encourage. There are certainly genetic professionals in all of the healthcare systems. There are genetic counselors. An individual who can take those results, in most instances, provide something that's meaningful upon which you can choose or not choose to act.
if you don't get this counseling, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Well, you've created a level of anxiety that comes with not knowing what happens anywhere. What is that strange noise under the hood of my car? Is that something I really need to deal with or don't deal with? Who's going to tell me?
Do you have a relationship with medical communities, with
We have 30 seconds left.
with the insurance companies and things of that sort? I mean, is this something that medical communities use, hospitals, physicians?
Well, we definitely test for diagnostic purposes. We don't do direct-to-consumer testing for the public concerns, and certainly not without the consent of the patient themselves or the family.
So bottom line is eyes open.
Be informed, make a choice, and use that information under the guidance of healthcare professionals so that you have some way to make a meaningful outcome.
Thanks, Barry.
Yep.
Very important.
Thank you.
Lily, we go from genetics to sort of the genetic makeup of this county, which is our diversity, our great strength, our links with the world, and that's what you're here to talk about.
Well, it's not just demographic diversity, it's also socioeconomic diversity. We are a community that is a million people community that is part of the greater Washington, D.C. economy of 6 million people that over the past generation has dramatically transformed itself. Along with the population growth, we are seeing the aging population, which makes it very urgent for us to look to the next generation of quality labor to sustain our economic growth so that we can continue to grow jobs. Because when people are attracted by our safe neighborhoods, relatively more affordable housing, and quality schools, we need to have corresponding job growth to make sure they don't have to commute. They have quality time to get involved with their kids' life and with their community life
Well, let's
as well.
tell us about this new public partnership. It was the Department of Economic Development, and now what are we looking at?
Well, with so many market dynamics and changing economy, it's important for us to be much more responsive and quicker to these changes to position ourselves better. We believe a government structure the way it is now does not give us the flexibility to be more responsive to business needs and to be more adaptive to market opportunities. And therefore, the county executive, at the advice of many business leaders and just community, to say we have changed dramatically. How can we respond to that better by getting ourselves out of the way so that we can usher in business expertise to advise us as a private sector-led board and structure this public-private partnership called Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation, so that we can be more competitive and broaden our tax base.
I believe you have a member of the board here on our panel with us right now, right?
Well, he's affiliated with the firm that is represented on the board. They have done great work for the community in helping us, attract and grow our business space, and we are grateful to have very willing and capable business leaders that want to serve on the board. And Mr. Robbie Brewer, which is with Lurchley Brewer, that.
So we have, so
colleague.
Chamber of
Yeah.
Commerce, I would imagine, is
Yeah.
is very supportive of
Oh,
this.
absolutely,
Who else
yes.
is supportive of?
Well, actually, we reached out to a broad base of community leaders, nonprofit leaders who came and testified to support, like a Latino Economic Development Corporation, for example, the Chinese American Biomedical Association, and all these different community groups were brought in to say, how can we globalize, commercialize, and diversify our economy so we can enjoy the quality of life without having to overburden our resident base to pay more taxes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So how does this kind of relate to the increasing minimum wage in Montgomery County? Are you working together? Is this all kind of one plan, or are they kind of two separate things?
It's not one plan per se. This we're talking about a restructuring process to take government out of economic development, business development part. Economic development, of course, is much broader than business development. But at the same time, we are, building the 501c3 Economic Development Corporation. We're building a Workforce Development Corporation. And part of that is also to help more of our residents connect with job opportunities, whether they're minimum wage or not. The minimum wage bill is part of the county council's legislation to empower
We've got less than 2 minutes. I know everybody wants to
And
ask
Lily,
questions.
wouldn't you agree? I mean, I think this is a
Yeah.
bold move by
Yes, it
our
is.
county executive,
Right.
Ike Leggett, to take this move to
Yeah.
take economic development in a new, bold direction
Yeah.
for the county. And I think that that the Economic Development Corporation, together with your leadership and the leadership of the board, is going to do great things for Montgomery County. Do you see this as the bold step that I sort of see it as, and I think that the Chamber of Commerce and others see it as,
Yeah.
in terms of leveling the playing field and
Yeah.
putting us out there as truly the competitive area that we are and the important region we are in Montgomery County?
Absolutely. I think it sends a very loud message at how determined we are to get ahead of the curve in light of all the global forces that are shifting so that we can continue to attract jobs and help our businesses grow. Yes.
Help me with a quick comment. It's obviously a nonprofit. The funding base for this and the anticipated support.
Great question. We will fully fund this public-private partnership. Currently, at the infancy stage, the county will continue to fund 100%, but over time, because it's a public-private partnership, they are expected, the organization is expected to raise some capital from private sources or whatever grants, opportunities it can go after. That's in a much more easier way than what a government can do.
Okay, but you won't be investing as well in as an entity, like an overseas private investment corporation or others, where they get their money back, or Ex-Im Bank, things like that. You're not going to be doing that. This will be advisory. This will be working to bridge
Yeah,
gaps.
it will replace the current Department of Economic Development with the funding from the county government for the early stage of its.
But the
its
knowledge
yeah.
bank on
Yeah.
this board is incredible.
absolutely.
And that's what's going to really bring
That's
to
right.
the
That's the
county.
best value
Okay.
that we can get from the private sector.
Well, best value, private sector.
Yeah.
That's what this show's all
Yeah,
about, isn't
exactly.
it? We'll be right
Yeah.
back after these minutes. And we're back. Steve Robbins, welcome.
Thank you. It's
You
great
know,
to be here.
I was at that, at these chamber events, at the wonderful honoring that you direct. It's what, 15 years now you've been doing this.
Well, I started out as a one-year stint, and it's been my 15th year now, so
It's your shtick.
well, thank you.
I think I might have been at the first one that you did. That was the exciting
think
stuff.
you were.
Tell us about the event. What why the Chamber of Commerce is engaged. It's 42 years now, and what it means to you.
Well, the Chamber of Commerce was actually mandated by the County Council to host this event for public safety. And this is the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce Public Safety Awards. It is our 42nd year doing this, my 15th year. I haven't been doing it for 42 years. And it's our way of saying thank you. The business community, the civic community, the government officials, everyone coming together. 1,200 or more people coming together.
All for
one
Steve
room.
Robbins' party.
No, it's not. It's not. I want to make that.
Yeah.
I do want to make that
You
clear.
work your tail
that
off on it, though.
This is
Yeah.
all about public safety. My heart is in the right place, and I do this because I really value what they do for our community. We're talking about the police, the fire and rescue, park police, sheriff, and correctional rehabilitation for the acts of valor that they do each and every day that we go on with our daily lives to have a place in Montgomery County to live, work, and play, and they literally put their lives on the line each and every day. It's our way of saying thank you, and it's really important.
Can you just give us an example that may be one of those that you think really exemplifies things at this point?
Each year we try to keep our awards that we're giving for this particular event, which is on March 11th at the conference center. We try to keep them secretive, but I can tell you that events are across the board very, very impressive. This year, for example, we will be honoring those individuals that participated in the events in Baltimore during the very tumultuous situation.
Aftermath of Freddie Gray.
That happened in Baltimore. You know, we had police officers there, we had sheriffs there, and we also had our Montgomery County Park Police there trying to keep order, and there will be a unit citation recognizing their efforts. But we recognize swift water efforts like the River Road incident. We were all over the Discovery incident, the sniper. My first year doing this was 9/11. You know, when I took this job and put this together, all of a sudden 9/11 happened, and of course that was, we all know about that.
Is there one particular story that just sticks out in your mind over these last 15 years where you say, oh my gosh?
I think the Discovery.
You know, there are so many. It's hard to identify one particular, but I can tell you that we've given out gold medals, silver medals, honorable mentions, bronze.
I think the
bronze
Discovery
medals.
story was.
Wait, one second. Website, and then come back with the website people can go to learn more about this.
Yeah, there's the
chamber
website,
okay.
the chamber website, which I think is being posted. And they can go or they can call the chamber at 301-738-0015. Sponsorship opportunities are available, and this is an event for everybody. Everybody in the county should, at one point or another, come to this event, hear the unbelievable stories, and celebrate public safety.
Lily, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I'm sorry, I was just kind of reminding
Yeah,
Steve
the Discovery incident
it was incredible.
The Discovery incident a few years ago in Silver Spring, where an individual came in and really threatened to essentially blow up the building, and the work that all of public safety did to make sure that the folks in Silver Spring in our county were safe was nothing short of incredible. And we honor it. We honor events like that. The swift water rescue. There are events that we have, for example, fallen trees on cars where
got about a minute left in this.
People have to crawl in, pull people out. And one thing I would like to point out is we also have a Government Partner of the Year award and a Corporate Vital Links award that we give out each and every year.
Good. What keeps you coming back?
It's my utmost respect for public safety. You know, each and every day I'm here in the county as an attorney trying to do the things that I do best, but it's my way of saying thank you. It's public service and really just showing my utmost respect for the men and women of public safety that literally, like I said when I started, put their lives on the line for all of us to make Montgomery County a better place to live, work, and play, to raise our families, and to just be a great place. And they truly are the heroes of the day.
What a great way to end this segment. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Good luck in your event, and
Thank
good luck
you.
in the next 15 years.
I hope to see you there. I hope to see
Yes,
all
I
of
will
you
be
there.
there.
I know Lily will be there. I hope you all will come. It's a great event.
Samantha.
Well, thanks for having me. So I'm here to talk about the Interfaith Clothing Center, which is one of the longest programs of Interfaith Works.
Wait, before you go. My daughter loves, I mean, she'd go and say, Dad, I'm going, and I'd give her a ride, and I know that path to to rolling, whatever that.
Twinbrook?
To Twinbrook, yes.
Right, so one of the coolest things about the Interfaith Clothing Center is it is so donor and volunteer based. So we could not do any of the work we do without our volunteers, and especially the groups that continue to be consistent and come back. So please thank your daughter for us.
She's not going to be happy though, because we know the way to Twinbrook, but you're moving.
So we are
What are
moving,
you
but
doing?
we're not going far. We are actually just going upstairs in the building.
Okay.
So it's going to be a much
So she'll still be able to find it.
She'll be able to find us.
Spring break and all that. Yeah, good.
We'll make sure the signs are up. So what we're hoping to do in the new space, as I've been calling it, is to really expand our services, because we have this amazing opportunity. We have over 13,000 people that are going to walk through our door and say, I need help with clothes, or I need school supplies, I need layettes, I need diapers, and all of these needs that are there, but there's an underlying cause of maybe why we can't afford baby clothes or why you need a little extra help with diapers. So we want to focus on the educational opportunity and put together some classes. And if we can engage people to say, you know, what else do you need? How can we help you get out of poverty and lift you up?
I think what you do is so important, and people often forget, because we have such an image of being such a successful, wealthy community, that we forget there are a lot of people who are left behind, you know, that can use a lot of help.
And in
So
real
this is
need.
important to hold the community
How
together.
is your organization related to the other interfaith organizations here in the county, like the Interfaith Housing Coalition or other coalitions that I know, for example, that my firm are involved with?
Sure, absolutely. So Interfaith Works is a large social service nonprofit, and we have many programs kind of covering the spectrum of homelessness. So we have shelter, vocational services, you mentioned the Interfaith Housing Coalition, so we're all under Interfaith Works.
So as you go forward, I mean, I'm so excited about this broad array of services that you'll be able to provide as folks are coming in to meet their short-term needs. What are some of the long-term needs that you hope? I don't know if is there going to be mental health counseling potentially as referrals? You said the job training opportunities or what are we looking at in the spectrum of what you see as the big needs?
Sure, so we're kind of looking at hopefully what would be a one-stop shop. So I mentioned the classes, so we hope to be able to have English as a second language classes, computer literacy, financial literacy. We do have a Project Inform, which when people come to the Interfaith Clothing Center, they can sit down and meet with kind of a coordinator who can assess their needs in a quick manner and figure out, okay, maybe you do need some mental health treatment, let me refer you here and let me tell you the next steps that you need to take in order to kind of get everything that you need to move on.
Okay. That's exciting. I mean, I think you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. I mean, what you're doing is teaching fishing. And
we try to focus on kind of the hand up. How can we hold your hand and get you there, as opposed to a hand out? And
I was going to ask about volunteers, not just our eminent leader's daughter, but
who's now in college, so we've got to back up behind her here. She's gone.
the opportunity to contact
Sure.
Interfaith Works or the specific clothing center at that point in time. How do you work your way to that?
Sure, so we want to say we absolutely love our volunteers, and especially now that we have this amazing opportunity, we need volunteers more than ever. You can check out our website, which is www.iworksmc.org, and there's all the links to help us volunteer.
And the county executive's office staff volunteers there every year.
Yes.
How about donations?
Yeah. Donations?
So the donations, like we said, we are completely donor-based. We don't, buy things to hand out. So we have one door where we have amazing donors that pull up.
Right.
We have a team of volunteers that will come unload your car for you. Your donations are sorted and hung up, and they go right back out the other door.
Are you looking for sort of gently worn, or is it?
So we really focus on the quality of clothing. So kind of our slogan is, would you give this to your neighbor?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know sometimes you might pick up a shirt and it's your favorite shirt and it means so much to you, but you see the little stain on it and you might be really embarrassed if your neighbor saw that stain. So that's probably not something that we want to be putting out on our route.
What are you short in? What do you need more of?
We always are in desperate need of children's clothes. I definitely want to mention that, and men's clothes. I don't know why men seem to wear their clothes until they're literally falling apart, whereas I feel maybe the ladies clean out their closets a little more often.
How about winter coats?
Yes, we absolutely need winter coats, like weatherproof coats especially. And I also would like to mention we need kind of skilled labor donations right now too, as we move into the new space. Every day is new rock, different problem. So we would love to if anybody has expertise in that, we're definitely looking for that.
Well, you had us on the public sector side here, which I'm sort of like being.
Yeah,
on
right.
and
You are the
hearing
private
this,
sector.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, and we'll try to keep all these things in mind, and look forward to having you back here again.
Sounds great.
I want to thank all of you for joining me.
Thank you.
And thank all of you in the viewing audience for joining us for this week's edition of Montgomery Week in Review. I'm Don Moores, inviting you to join us next week at this very same time.